Continuing our discussion from the previous movie about HTML attributes, we now come to the attributes IDs and classes. Now, several attributes are available and applicable to most tags in HTML. They serve the same general purpose despite the tag with which they are used. As you will learn later when we cover CSS, it's usually advantageous to identify particular tags so you can refer to them by other methods in the document. The ID identifier assigns a unique ID to a tag. For example, if you use a table tag to contain some content, you could use the ID attribute to give the table a more descriptive name, such as scores, or perhaps inventory. Once a specific ID has been declared, it cannot be used again within the same HTML file. Locally within the tag, the attribute also has no effect. However, scripts can access and manipulate tags based on their ID attribute. More on how scripts access tags based on their attributes later in the course. Next, we come to classes. Classes are similar to IDs in that they help identify tags in a document for use by other methods. However, unlike IDs, which can only be used once per document, classes can and really should be applied across several tags in a document. Applying them is very similar to applying IDs and other attributes. Apply a class called bold to a table tag like this, table, and then class equals bold. The way that you would use this class is that you would use it to bold several tables in a document. As with the ID attribute, the class attribute does not directly affect the tag to which it's added. The class attributes link tags to a CSS style that also references and describes the class. To more fully understand the link between HTML tags using classes and styles referencing those classes, we'll need to review CSS in more detail, which we'll do in the last half of the course. But for now, keep classes in mind as we code our basic HTML so we can start incorporating them in our pages. You'll generally use IDs to style layout elements of a page that will be needed only once, and then use classes to style the text and other elements that may be declared multiple times. For example, you may need to bold or italicize elements, so you'd use a class for that styling. The main container for this page here is defined by this div tag, div ID equals container. I've chosen the ID selector for the container division over a class because I only need to use this one time in this file. In other words, I only have one container on this document. Then in my CSS file, I would define container with the following properties. The width is 80%, margin auto, the padding is 20 pixels, the border is 1 pixel solid of this color right here, defined by that hex value. Then the background of my container is this color. An aside here is that notice that the ID selector here in my CSS file begins with a pound sign or a number sign, and the classes, when you use them, will begin with a period or a dot. Now, I recommend adding comments to all of your HTML documents in order to make them more readable and understandable. So let's now move on to the next movie and discuss HTML commenting in more detail.